Very good morning, dear listeners. Allow me to address you today and speak about the prospects for livestock production. I need to mention two fundamental aspects. The first is what would happen if the Green Deal is applied 100%. Livestock production in the Czech Republic and in Europe at large won't be able to set and provide the necessary volume of meat, milk and eggs. So the Green Deal envisages organic farming to replace the traditional, but we see that not much is produced using organic farming. Let me give you an example from the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic has 17.6% of soil in the organic regime, but in terms of production from the 17.6%, production is just 1.3%. Livestock production had self-sufficiency in the year around 110, 112%. But if we reduce this production by 25 to 30%, nobody in Europe can guarantee full self-sufficiency. So what's going to happen? The deficits that would be faced by both Czech and European consumption and will need to be covered through import from both South and North America, and we may debate about this import. The question that comes into play is quality, for instance, use of antibiotics. Over here, GMO is banned, but when we look at the feed for animals imported in Europe is soy and corn. And soy and corn, 100% are GMO in South America. And growth hormones are used, especially in poultry. Another huge problem is that the imports will tremendously impact the environment, and what is crucial, will have an impact on the availability of fresh foods, which means that we'll have to consume frozen foodstuffs, which in terms of their quality won't mean healthy and full-fledged nutrition for citizens. And then when we look at foodstuffs to be frozen, then really the quality would be questionable. So for the citizens, that would mean a huge deterioration of quality and nutrition of citizens as a result. So this is one side of the coin if Green Deal is to be implemented. I believe it can't be implemented. What needs to happen is that it must be removed, because this is nonsense. People have no notion whatsoever about agriculture. Mr. Timmermans, who led for elections in the Netherlands, well, he got reprimanded on home ground too. So the approval process in European Parliament, now voices are starting to be heard of those who use common sense and who indeed have decided to stand up against the nonsense set up by Mr. Timmermans. So his knowledge of agriculture and environment is indeed doubtful. If the Green Deal was to be stopped, the situation would be completely different. The problem would be solved. How, you may ask? So what's going to happen is that the structure of plant production, especially in countries that exceeded in 2004 and later, is going to change. There is going to be a change in the structure of plant production. There will be a change in sowing practices in favor of butterfly crops, clover, alfalfa, beans, peas, etc. Then these crops will be rotated in a way they should be rotated, not in a way that has a detrimental impact on soil. But if we rotate properly, we'll have enough feed for livestock production, and that can and shall increase our self-sufficiency. We can achieve that very quickly, especially in poultry and in pork. As for poultry, I dare say that in 6 to 7 years, and in pigs, maximum 10 years. So we can produce everything at home, have everything in high quality and fresh, and it would be clear what the origin of the foodstuffs is. So this is something that could be achieved if Green Deal was put to a halt. The changed structure of plant production will bring a higher quality soil tillage, so that will have a positive impact on some soil properties such as the crumbly structure, aeration, life in the soil, permeation, etc. So these are important factors. For instance, permeation of soil, 0, but we need to be able to work with the soil, to farm, to do the tillage. And let's imagine that autumn tillage is to be banned. Who will not comply with this precondition will have the subsidies removed, and who complies will get 6,000 per hectare. But I mean, soil needs to be tilled, and this is complete nonsense. Crops have a strong root system, and when they dry, there is not enough space for water to reach the deep layers of soil. So this actually needs to be taken into account. And sometimes farmers are accused that it's their fault that there is no water in rivers and streams, but the reason is that the soil is not tilled properly, it doesn't permeate, it's not stay there. And then we hear talk about, for instance, insect and life lacking in rivers, creeks and streams, but this is the nonsensical politics of Green Deal and practices imposed on countries that exceeded in 2004 and later. If we cultivated soil in the way we should do, it would bring enough water in streams, and life would return there. Not only amphibians and similar other animals that are very much needed for birds, insects, amphibians, but we do quite the opposite. what is done is that everything gets destroyed and then farmers are blamed. If we establish quality fodder basis for the development of animal production, it won't be a problem to increase the number of pigs, poultry, hens, and livestock. There has to be enough livestock, animal husbandry in general, so that it's 2/3 of the sales from a hectare. But it's the opposite now when it comes to plant production vis-a-vis animal production. This year in the Czech Republic, a large part of companies that don't have more extensive animal production will be loss-making, and this also applies to some companies that are in our portfolio. So plant production has many financial problems. Besides that, national subsidies are not paid out, and then there are some subsidies that are available just to those who do the mulching and who do the mowing. So it's nonsense that is done. And we're trying to get into the situation when people don't have enough food. This means that as a result, the price of food is rising, etc. This, however, is something that can't be accepted. This is something with which we can't agree. The rich ones probably want to destroy the middle and lower income classes. If this situation occurs, I mean, if we have a correctly set up farming motivational policy, I've already outlined that we can see a fast growth of self-sufficiency in the commodities such as pork, poultry, or eggs. If we produce foodstuffs on homegrown, the state gains a lot. So we earn people, we earn from employing people in agriculture. Besides that, there'll be social security paid, health insurance, and tax. And when we do intensive cultivation and we have more livestock production, it will also lead to greater earnings and excise duties. So, for instance, more diesel is consumed, and the state would earn a lot on that. So from one average company that would do more livestock production, the excise duty income for the state would be 5, 6, 7 million per year extra. So this is a fact, but the state is not interested. And then if a company is active in this way, then again, it means further money for the state budget. So more VAT is paid by companies than what's deducted, but the state doesn't listen, destroys our companies. And we should never actually consent to that. If we see this change and there is a change of the sources that are paid into the state budget, we would have enough in the budget. We would even have enough for pensioners. They'll get what they deserve because throughout their active lives, they paid more on Social Security than what they're getting. It is a shame of the Czech nation that we don't now pay enough in pensions to those who actually built our country. But really, if we look at what has been done recently, nothing much. How many dams have been built? How many motorways? Like nearly zero. We're only looting, liquidating people. Nobody seems to care. So if we speedily move away from the nonsensical Green Deal, this shall support the stability of the state budget and will pave the way for high quality foodstuffs at fair prices. If we stop being a toy in the hands of Brussels civil servants, we'll regain our independence, not only in foodstuffs. Thank you very much for your dedicated attention.